Hello, everyone, and welcome to the big show. This is Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by Trading Academy. If you're a first-time listener, thank you for stopping by. I am your host, Josh Lilquist, and before I bring on my special guest here today, I just want to give a couple accolades. What I'm going to do here for this first segment is bring a former Chicago Board of Trade trader back in the day. I don't want to age him at all, but back when the trading floors were thriving, and to give some insight on what's really happening in these financial markets. We've had some big news this week. Welcome to the show. John Larsen, how are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic, Josh. Pleasure to be here. I appreciate you having me in.
Yeah, it's always good to have former traders from the floors of the exchanges just to be able to get some insight on what you've seen in the past with different drops in the market, what you see moving forward, and just what's going on there. But before we do that, our sponsor, Trading Academy, 27 years teaching people just like you how to trade, how to invest, how to get in the markets if you're brand new or if you're a seasoned investor, helping you with more consistency with those income accounts and those 401ks, those IRAs. They like to be called the retirement accounts. So, John, I got a couple questions for you now. So this week, obviously, there was a Fed announcement on, I believe it was Tuesday, right? And they rates were still unchanged, 5.5%. And we've had some other news this week as well, earnings this week, and we've seen some negative action in the markets. Markets went down, especially you look at a couple stocks, Amazon in particular, coming in on Friday. Amazon comes in and they have a major gap to the downside. And just looking at the price chart, it closed on Thursday at 184. It opens up right around the 167 mark, down about 9%. Intel, they had some big news with Intel. They are going to be cutting the workforce there, and dividends, I believe they're pausing dividends. Just some information with Intel dropping about 27% overnight. But the big thing is they're down almost 60% in 2024. Now, so the overall markets are also seeing some bearish pressure in the market. There's been a lot of news. You see these different news talking heads talking about, are we in a recession now? And so are they trying to put fear into people? But we all know it's a great opportunity. I want to see, what is your insight on this market with some of this downward action that's happening now?
So I've been doing this for a while, and I can tell you that the price action I see right now reminds me a whole lot, Josh, of what happened back in 2000 when the dot-com bubble blew up, or even what happened in 2007 after right at the beginning of the real estate debacle. This consolidation and then the leak down, and now the volume is starting to come in to the downside. So this low volume rally that we had, this last leg up, and it was really led by one stock. Let's face it, NVIDIA was really kind of leading the charge there, which is what took all the steam out of Intel. And I think that stock in particular has got a lot of room to the downside. NVIDIA, it was overdone. It increased market cap faster than any stock in history. It can give a lot of this last gasp higher. It can give a lot of that price action back. So these markets are unsettled, in my opinion. And I think we've got a lot of downside to come. This thing can correct, still be in a major uptrend, but it can correct and give a lot of the gains back.
Yeah, and it can be good for some people. It can be bad for some people. Going back to your NVIDIA comment there, it's interesting, and you see this happen a lot when stocks do a split. A lot of people think that I'm going to get more shares and all blah blah, all this stuff. But since that split, that stock is down 25%. And that's a big move, especially with this high flyer. I mean, you've seen this one just soar to the upside over the last few years. So a great move with NVIDIA. But if we see this big stock, can this bring the overall market down, which it's a possibility, right?
Yeah, well, I think, the Magnificent Seven stocks have led the charge on the way up. Let's face it, the AI theme is really what this market's been about. And in particular, NVIDIA stock left pretty much everything else behind, and it's been the leader of the pack. If you look at the other 495 stocks in the S&P 500, they're not doing any type of rate of return relative to the high flyers. So these stocks are overdone, and I think the price action right now is telling you, man, you better be insured. You better look out below. You better understand how to make money when things are moving south. And that's a good thing for people that know how to trade. because if you look at the 10 biggest trades in history, the most profitable trades, 7 out of the 10 are to the downside. So there's opportunity here for somebody that really knows what they're doing, and I think there's a lot of money to be made. I'm excited about the market right now.
Yeah, having the strategies designed for these down markets is very important to have, but it's important to understand how that works prior to this happening. We're at the beginning of a big drop. It could soar back to the upside. You don't know. But if you have odds and probabilities, but an actual strategy with risk management, you don't really care which way this market goes. And you've helped a lot of people kind of bridge that gap of knowing what to do, what not to do, but really be comfortable getting in these financial markets. Now, if you had one or two things that to help people with a mindset, if they're brand new to the markets and they want to get started, maybe they have 401ks, do really good financially. But if there was two things that you could tell people to help them get started, what do you think that would be?
Well, I think the biggest thing, and I think the most important thing as somebody who's approaching markets as a relative newbie is risk management. Absolutely, positively, you have to understand how to manage risk like a professional trader manages risk. If you burn through all your risk capital, you're not going to be able to take advantage of the markets when they do move. So risk management is absolutely paramount, especially in these markets where, man, the volatility is there, right? We're starting to increase all across the board. So risk management is number one. So learn how not to lose money.
That's exactly right. Because if you can't keep it, you can't grow it.
It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep.
Exactly, that's the old saying. And thanks for the insight, I appreciate it. John is actually teaching a class here at the Academy. And so people that want to get started in the markets, it takes action to get started. And sometimes that's that toughest thing, but it's not knowing what that action is. So that's why here at the Academy, we have investing classes that we do throughout the week. We have 2-hour classes where people come in, people just like you come in to learn about how to get started, the strategies for up markets. Obviously, everybody knows what those are. There's strategies to protect those capitals, but also strategies to profit as markets go down as well. So the key is to having that strategy, planning ahead for that strategy, and then as John was just alluding to, protecting what you have. So I want to invite you to these investing classes. They're about 2 hours. Simply call or text the word trading to the number 952-905-0975. And that's 2 seats, one for you and one for a friend. Call 952-905-0975. And I messed that up, so I'm going to try that one more time. Call or text the word trading to the number 952-905-0975 right now for 2 seats for an investing class right here in the metro area, one for you and one for a friend. John, I appreciate you coming on the show here today. Thanks for that. I know you're going to be teaching a class here to help people get started in the markets. Coming up next, I got my old host, Al Connickson, coming back on the show and giving some more insight on the financial markets. This is Josh with Investing and Trading Live. We will be right back.
That was awesome, man. You're stunned.